Let's rewind to 1588, a year that would change the course of world history forever. Picture this: England, a relatively small island nation facing off against Spain, the global superpower of the age, boasting the most fearsome fleet known as the Invincible Armada. But spoiler alert, they weren't quite as invincible as they thought. To understand why Spain's Armada set sail, we need to talk about the political tension between England and Spain. England's Queen Elizabeth I and Spain's King Philip II were not on the best of terms, to put it lightly. Philip was Catholic and saw Protestant England as a rogue, heretical state, and Elizabeth's support of Dutch rebels against Spanish rule made things worse. July 1588, the mighty Spanish Armada leaves Lisbon, with 130 ships carrying around 30,000 men. Philip's plan was to sail up the English Channel, link up with the Duke of Parma's troops in the Netherlands, and stage an invasion of England. Sounds simple, right? Just sail to England, unload the troops, and Bob's your uncle. But even before they reached English waters, things weren't smooth sailing. Storms battered the Armada as it crossed the Bay of Biscay, damaging ships and draining supplies. And remember, this was the 16th century. No GPS, no weather radar, just maps and prayer. England wasn't going to sit and wait for the Armada to arrive. The English Navy was led by some of the finest naval commanders of the age: Sir Francis Drake, the swashbuckling adventurer, and Lord Howard of Effingham, an experienced and strategic thinker. And when the Armada finally entered the Channel, the English did what they do best: stirred up trouble. They sent fire ships, old vessels loaded with flammable materials, directly into the Spanish fleet, causing chaos and forcing the tightly packed Spanish ships to scatter. The English fleet, with smaller, faster ships, harassed the Spanish Armada up and down the Channel. They stayed out of reach of the Armada's powerful guns and struck when the opportunity presented itself. It was like watching a hawk hunt a lumbering bear, agile, precise, and relentless. Now the Spanish had heavy, well-armed galleons designed for close combat. They planned to board English ships and fight hand-to-hand. But the English kept their distance, using longer-range cannons to chip away at the Spanish ships. It was like a giant chess game on water. Except here, losing meant your ship sinking to the bottom of the Channel. Then came the Battle of Gravelines, the turning point. On August 8, 1588, the English caught the Armada near the French coast at Gravelines. Using their superior firepower, the English pounded the Armada, sinking ships and spreading chaos. The Spanish were completely overwhelmed. The Armada was in tatters. With mounting losses and their fleet in chaos, the Spanish attempted to retreat northward, around the treacherous coastlines of Scotland and Ireland. Philip's Invincible Armada, battered and bruised, began its long and miserable retreat. The journey home was a nightmare. Storms scattered the fleet, ships crashed on rocky shores, and many sailors perished from starvation or disease. Of the 130 ships that set sail, only about half returned to Spain. It was a total disaster for Spain, and for Philip, it marked the beginning of the end of Spanish naval dominance. England's unlikely victory against the Armada didn't just safeguard the nation, it established England as a rising naval power, setting the stage for the British Empire. Queen Elizabeth famously declared to her troops at Tilbury that she had the body of a weak and feeble woman, but the heart and stomach of a king, and she wasn't wrong. England's victory echoed across Europe, changing the balance of power for centuries. The defeat of the Spanish Armada is often celebrated as the victory of a smaller, scrappier underdog against a colossal giant. It was a moment that signaled the beginning of Spain's decline and England's rise, and all thanks to some clever tactics, a bit of luck with the weather, and the unbreakable spirit of the English Navy. So, next time you hear about invincible fleets or unbeatable forces, remember the Armada of 1588. Sometimes, even the mightiest titans can be brought down by a combination of brains, bravery, and a few well-placed fire ships.